Welcome to episode 35, where we're continuing our discussion of footwork and specifically the Juen Ma, or pivoting action. Last time we talked about the theory behind it and the basic way that things happen. Now what we want to do is actually show you with a partner how it functions. So I'll invite Gandak to join me. And like I said in the last installment, a lot of the drills we do, let's take Chisao as a perfect example, we're starting in a Juen Ma position, and under normal circumstances, particularly if you're not very advanced in your training, when someone tries to step in, if he comes in now, you would tend to use Juen Ma and move away. It's what we all start with because it's an easier thing to deal with and it's logical to get out the way of the attack. But when you're starting to really connect with your stance and understand relaxation and structure very, very well, often you don't need to step away. A pivot will do it for you. And you can see the result is that Gandak has lost his structure, but I've kept mine and I'm able to land my attack immediately. Now, at this kind of range, it's going to be a half pivot because I only need to turn one foot. So as he's coming in, I only need to turn half my body. I'm already now in range. From this point, I don't need to do the pivot again. I can just continue in. However, if he's coming from a slight distance, it would still only require a half pivot, because from that distance he shouldn't be able to build up too much power, and as long as I'm using my core to do the pivot, not my shoulders or my feet, but my core, when he comes in, I can bounce him away. There's always a limitation, and you need to find your limitation, which you can do with partners anytime you want to do it. So if I invite him to go a little bit further back and charge at me, there's going to be a distance where I can't do it. So up to that point, it still could work. But if he really comes at me like a steam train, then probably it will collapse. Now, without going into detail now, because I'll talk about this further down the track, what just happened was what we've referred to in the past in previous discussions we've had. We talked about 5 types of footwork. That was number 5. It's one you can't do by yourself. All the others you can. But that one can only happen with a partner to help you. And that is when your pivoting action is overwhelmed with pressure, so it collapses into Juen Ma. And here's the bad news, good news. It only works if you're pivoting on your heels. If you insist on pivoting on the balls of your feet, that's not going to work. And you'll end up flying, because you're giving energy to your enemy. So, to go back to where we were, in a drill like Chisao, where we've started square, a half pivot might be all I need. But then again, he might quickly change sides. So we're attacking, he starts coming in, I've done my first pivot, and he tries to change. Now I'm going to end up doing a full pivot to get to the other side. Likewise, if you're in the Lapsal drill, we might be standing here doing Lapsal, and he decides to try to drag me into his punch. I'm going to need a full pivot there. If I do it to him, I'm using a full pivot there. So this is a footwork that will come in very handy under a lot of circumstances. Even when you just briefly break contact and he starts to come in. A little pivot is enough to get him offline and allow you to hit. Much better than doing a sidestep and allowing him to chase you. So, hope that clears up some of the theory from the previous one. In the next installment, we'll show you a drill that allows you to train that under 3 different circumstances. Talk to you then. Bye.